Somehow, my daughters fell in love with Formula One. I don't know how or why, but I'm not arguing. They may not know wheel, but does anyone?
Hi, and welcome to We Don't Know Wheel F1. I'm Anne.
I'm Grace.
I'm Shelly.
And I'm Sarah.
And we're four sisters who fell in love with Formula One and decided to start a podcast so we could force all of our friends and family to listen to us talk about it.
Ding.
Grace, you want to start the Carlito celebration?
Okay, kind of wild, but the not Australia, but when Carlos won Singapore, I was also in Hawaii.
You should go to
So
Hawaii more often.
I think it might be lucky for him when I'm in Hawaii.
Also, did you guys see that this was apparently the first race that Carlos has won that George didn't crash out during the race? Or where he actually was able to finish the race?
Oh, that's wild. That's really funny.
Mhm.
That kind of checks out. Not kind of, that does check out. That's an interesting stat.
He did crash, but not in the race. In FP. We got this.
I will also say I saw a couple of things on Twitter about how it was interesting that Formula One was trying to make a big deal out of someone from Spain winning the Mexican Grand Prix.
I think it's definitely one of those things where you're like, yeah, Spain colonized Mexico. So
Yes.
we don't need to be like
He's the
hero
king of
worship.
The king
Spain.
of
Yeah, he's the
Mexico.
king
yeah,
of
Mexico is
Mexico.
not a good look. But
No.
I think it's like it's well known that Carlos is very well liked in
Oh, yeah.
Mexico because he's a Spanish speaker, not because he's Spanish.
Yes. Yes.
And there's a difference.
Wow, I was also thinking, and there's now, I mean, four Spanish speakers on the grid. It's got to be the
Mhm.
next most common language after English as a first language.
It was interesting. I
Hmm.
felt like Carlos seemed just a tiny bit not uncomfortable. It was just like he was like, wait, I'm really supposed to speak in Spanish. Like when they did the interview, and he was like, you can answer in Spanish. And then he totally answered in English until he was like, okay, last question.
In
Answer me in
Spanish.
Spanish.
I bet that has to be partially just like the years and years and years of media
Yeah.
training, drilling, answering questions like that into him in English,
Yeah.
always.
Yeah.
Totally.
I think I mainly attribute that drivers are just citizens of the world. Like even though they have their home country, they have grown up everywhere, know all these different languages. They belong to everyone.
They belong to everyone. Have seen some like social media content talking about how Colapinto is constantly trying to get all of the interviewers and like media to speak to him in Spanish and learn Spanish, which I actually really like. I like that he's
Mhm.
out here like, you keep practicing your Spanish. It sounds good.
Well,
He's just flirting.
Even Oscar this weekend was like,
Yes.
dude, I need to learn Spanish. I need to know what you're saying in your interviews. And I thought that was pretty funny. And then I saw a meme that showcased that clip versus when him and Logan were like doing interviews and like, okay, the Logan girls always have to bring it back to him. But
I saw a
Yeah.
tweet, I think yesterday, about like, guess who hasn't crashed out in 5 races? Logan is the GOAT.
Logan's
That's mean.
getting who was a really bad driver?
Latifi.
He's getting the Nicholas Latifi treatment,
he's catching
unfortunately.
strays. Yeah.
He's catching a few strays, but he still has many fans.
Uh,
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry. Of course, I thought it was a good race. I thought it was a great race.
It was.
I love Carlos winning. I'll always love it. I loved him coming up on the car and not in a sombrero, like reclining.
I missed that. I did not. Oh, here's
That was
my
Max a couple of years
story.
ago.
My story watching the race is that I watched it in the airport in Phoenix on my phone with our parents. The three of us around one phone.
At
And
full
then we
volume?
didn't
Yeah, full
at
volume.
the
Oh,
time.
Yes.
wow.
We were in a closed gate. Like there was not a flight at the gate that we were sitting at.
Okay.
And then I finished it once I got in bed at their house, which was around 3 in the morning.
Oh my gosh.
And I was just like, well, I'm not tired, so I guess I'll finish the last half hour of this race. So I didn't make it to the trophy ceremony.
I actually did something well, I was with Shelly in Hawaii and we watched the start together. And then I was kind of like, I
Good
need to
start.
enjoy my last like 2 hours here. So I stopped watching. Shelly continued to watch, and I would just like look over and be like, Carlos is still in the lead. But then when I got home, I was like, I need to watch this race from like start to finish. So I went back because I had just watched the start, so I knew Carlos had been overtaken, and Shelly had told me Carlos had taken back the lead, but I was like, I gotta watch it all from the beginning. So I watched the whole thing. I watched
It was a good overtake.
yeah.
Yes, it was.
Watched the interviews, and I wanted to see it all. I wanted to see it all, and I did, and I was very happy. And dream podium, Carlos, Lando, Charles, that's all very sweet. Charles seemed not the most happy, but not the
Third
most
wheel.
unhappy. Yeah, he was third wheeling hard. I loved the content after, like Lando out with Carlos's family.
Yes. Did you see the video of Carlos dancing to Smooth Operator in a club somewhere?
No.
I
Why
only
don't
saw
you
the
send
video on
that?
Twitter. Otherwise, I would have sent it to
Why don't
you.
you send these?
Just take a screen recording of it. She
I
doesn't
don't know
know
how to do that.
Well, I
That's
did see it
shocking.
and I
Teach
didn't
me,
send it.
Shelly.
I just eventually believe that everyone will get around to it. But yes, it was really entertaining.
We'll see it in 2 to 5 business days on
Yeah.
Instagram.
Exactly.
Exactly.
I loved the video of Zach Brown photobombing Ferrari and then Carlos doing the same thing. And like the amount of cheers that Carlos got when he photobombed the McLaren picture, very cute.
They love him. Papaya
love
rules.
Papaya rules. And then, okay, the video, I think I sent it in the group chat somehow, either on Instagram or I don't know. There's this video of Carlos, and he looks like he's consumed some champagne at this point. His hat's like a little bit on sideways, and he's like taking a picture with his dad, but then he's like, wait. And he goes and gets his mom, and then he like goes and gets everyone, and seems very happy.
Get Rebecca. Get my cousin Carlos.
Get my cousin. Get my brother-in-law. I think it's his brother-in-law, I guess. Whoever it is, it's great. It's cute. Oh, yeah. Also, like, I think in the Ferrari video, he was like, this was such a great weekend. My whole family's here. My girlfriend's here. I was like, I've never heard him reference his girlfriend. He's always very like,
The commentators reference his girlfriend.
Oh, yeah, they do. But he's always very like,
They're very
Get
like
my friend here.
Carlos and Charles' partners watching on, looking nervous.
yeah, but great race. Also, like, okay, so let's talk about the rest of the race. Max
will say-
Verstappen, 20 seconds worth of penalties.
So funny.
Incredible.
I went into this race with low expectations in terms of just like the racing aspect of it. Because the past few years, like the Mexican GP has great vibes in terms of the crowd, the atmosphere, like the look of it. Wonderful, super fun. The racing itself has not been great. This year blew my expectations out of the water. It was so fun.
Yeah, I, as an Oscar girl, was bummed this weekend, but
That's what I was gonna say.
We're
I think he
bummed.
was a good fantasy team pick though for this week because he had a lot of good overtakes.
But also, let's talk about the moment in the middle of the grid where he was like, somebody get me out of here.
He swore on the radio.
Yes,
did.
he
He
was in
did.
such a bad mood. I was like, what happened to the Oscar that I've been watching?
I did try to go and look at the fantasy league today, and it said it was like under
Yeah.
My
construction.
dad texted
So
me.
I
There's a
don't
group chat
know.
about
Yeah.
this.
I don't know where I landed, but hopefully
I better
somewhere
be at the
high.
top. Since I have Carlos as my number one on all of my teams.
I keep thinking that like one of my teams, because I did it so early on, I can't remember if I actually got like Charles, Carlos, and Ferrari, like all three. I don't think that's possible, but we'll see how
It
things
is
shake out.
possible if you do really cheap drivers in the second team.
Yeah, I have
And
to
steak. No.
And steak.
Yeah. Sad weekend for Yuki and Alex. That was
Yeah.
so
rough one.
I will say, to me, this is one of the hardest races to watch for Checo. Ever.
Yeah. Always.
He never does good at this race
He's gotten third 2 times, Sarah.
recently.
Never does good.
Not last year, but the 2
Why?
previous years before that. Both years it was Max, Lewis, Checo.
I'll believe it when I see it.
We somehow manifested last episode for P2, so I'm confused about
I'm
this
confused too.
narrative.
Our manifesting gave the exact
Oof.
opposite result. Did you guys see he finished literally dead last?
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he pitted for the extra
For the
point.
fastest lap.
Extra
And he
my
didn't get
gosh.
it.
fast
He
lap
didn't
and
get
didn't
it.
get
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Which also
Yep.
was like
Yep.
they knew that Ferrari was going for it. I guess it's for the
I know.
constructors.
Well, and he
But-
had a damaged car. Like, how is he gonna?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't have anything
Yeah.
to lose. It's not like he was losing points because of that.
No,
Yeah,
that's true. That was a wild ride though.
it was sad.
Yeah, what was I fear Liam Lawson is getting a little bit of a reputation.
Yes, that's what mom said earlier today. Is she thinks
It's
he's
not
getting a real
cute.
bad rep.
It's not
Well,
cute.
people are saying Seb 2.0, and honestly,
I thought
Not
that
mad about it.
Colapinto was Seb 2.0, and that's who I accept as my Seb 2.0.
That was supposed
Fair.
to be Mick was Seb 2.0.
No, Mick has
Mick's
never
Von
been.
not on the
German.
grid.
No one has ever said that Mick is Seb 2.0.
You gotta earn that.
we'll
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
I've
We'll
been
see.
seeing some like crazy things around the internet about who's filling the Red Bull seat, what's
Mm.
going on with the rest of it, and people are throwing out obviously Danny's name. But the most surprising one, well, okay, everyone's shaking their head for the
Obviously,
audience.
Danny.
Shelly.
He's
Um,
retired.
People are sort of saying that what if Red Bull comes and swoops in last minute and is like, we want Carlos. And that would be very interesting if things switched up that way.
Honestly,
So-
I believe
I
that's
think
in
Red
his
Bull needs
contract.
to have a
Exactly.
call in to Carlos and say, do you have the ability? Do you want the seat? Because he is one of the only drivers that has been able to like go toe to toe with another team's unofficial first driver
Mm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
without like damaging the relationship where like Carlos and Charles still get along well. Carlos hasn't really like no,
I do think the harder part is their dads. I know that
Again,
sounds
back to that. It
Okay.
always comes back to that.
It's about dads. It's all about dads. Everybody knows.
Yeah. Okay.
But you know it's true. Like the issue, I think that Carlos actually could totally navigate Red Bull. I don't think
Mhm.
that Yos would
and
let
Carlos
him.
Senior.
Does Carlos
I feel
Sr.
like-
come to all the races, or
No.
he just happens to always be there when Carlos wins?
I think when Carlos is on pole, like his
He'll
family
fly
will come.
in.
Oh,
No, that's kind of
what?
bad. I don't.
He also comes to other races throughout the season, but I think they intentionally, if there's like a really good chance he's gonna win, they will come in for those races.
Get on the PJ. We're going.
That's a
Carlos
quick
does the same thing for his
turnaround.
dad.
That's a
Yeah,
quick
he flew out to
turnaround.
Dakar.
Carlos flew to Dakar when they thought his dad was gonna win,
And he
the-
surprised his dad.
and he did.
Okay. Wow.
I think
that's
when you're
love.
rich, it's like a totally different life.
I fear it is. Yeah.
But okay, here's what I feel like is the most likely
I also though
situation at Red Bull. Yes, Grace.
I do think
I was interrupting you.
I was interrupting. I do think that a lot of the drivers like to do a vacation in Mexico And often Carlos seems to do that with his family. So I'm not totally surprised they were
They
there.
probably have a home
They have a
there.
home to stay in. It's fine. There's no
They have
issue
a
with the
fancy
rentals.
hotel.
Maybe, yeah. They have a timeshare, I think.
Yeah, they have a timeshare. They have a VRBO.
With the Checos.
Stop.
Hate that. Okay, go ahead, Anne. Go ahead.
What I was going to say is I feel like the most likely scenario at Red Bull at the moment is actually that Liam Lawson ends up taking Checo's seat and RB ends up being Checo and Colapinto.
That's unhinged.
What?
I don't
You're
think
saying
Williams
those
would
are the-
release.
out?
Those are the rumors that I've been hearing.
What are you where? From just
I
people.
will-
Just
Okay,
from people.
I have a statement to make. I do feel like it's interesting to contrast Colapinto to Lawson because I feel like Colapinto has been like very well received and came in being like, I'm so excited to be here. I can't believe I got to talk to Hamilton. And like a lot of the drivers have said that they feel like he's doing really well. They respect what he's doing. And like Lawson now has multiple drivers who are like,
What's about long-term established drivers who are official in the official haters fan club? Haters club.
Did you guys see
Founders,
there's a
founding
video
members.
of Checo and Lawson having a
Yes.
heated discussion,
flipped him
waiting
off.
in line
That's
for
2 weeks in a
getting
row.
weighed.
And guess who was there to see it? George.
Fernando.
He's
George.
always there creeping, and I kind of love it.
He has to put it in the group chat.
If we're getting anyone on this podcast, let it be George and let us get the gossip from him. He's also
Yes.
not afraid to share the gossip because did
No.
you see him getting interviewed about like all the stuff with overtaking rule changes? And
he
he
said,
was like,
19 drivers are in favor of changing this rule right now, and one is not.
it's just
Who's
out
not in
there like,
favor?
let me tell you what's in the group
He
chat.
didn't
And you're
say.
like, isn't there some sort of expectation of confidentiality, George?
No, he's got power, and he's power hungry.
He is a little power hungry.
I love
He's
it.
gonna join the FIA when he retires. He'll be a steward.
He'll be a steward.
Watch out, guys. Watch out.
Carlos is going into strategy. George is going to be a steward.
Mm-hmm.
Oscar, an
Fernando.
engineer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Classic.
Maybe Charles could design racetracks because he wanted to be an architect.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Fernando
Is that
will
why
just
you
still be
love him,
driving.
Shelley?
No, no. I think
No.
he has a lot of side quests that he's interested in. It's like the least interesting thing about him personally. Anyway.
Obsessed. I love it. Are you like, that's what all boys say that they would
I-
have done?
Everyone thinks they could be an architect.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah, let's chop it up to that. Let's move on.
Shelley's like,
This was Fernando's 400th race, which was
Yay!
incredible. But
Incredible
then,
helmet.
but then
king
not
of
very
Spain.
incredible for him.
No.
No, actually, that is the one part of the race that I missed because my phone died in the airport. And we had to restart, and I just guessed on where we were. And then we realized a few minutes later that Fernando was out. So please tell me what happened.
He had to retire the car. There was
They
some
didn't
issue
really
with
Just
say
for
the
no
what
reason?
happened.
Something was wrong.
Oh, I thought that somebody had swiped him. I thought maybe
Liam?
him and Checo because Checo had damage. I picked up on that. But it
That
sounds like
happened
that
between
was
Checo
with
and
Checo's
Liam.
damage is
Lawson.
from Liam.
Hence
Yeah.
the
But
middle
then
finger.
also the announcer was like,
Hence.
essentially the Red Bull side pods are made out of paint, so it doesn't take much.
It's like the tip of the jousting spear in a night tale.
The Knight's Tale.
It's just spun sugar and soot. You could kill a man with that side pod.
You could, yeah. Yeah. What else was happening?
How do you guys take the Lando Max of it all this weekend?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so who knows what's going on with like they're reviewing the penalty?
No idea.
I don't know.
Should we call
I
George?
Yeah, let get George on the
Phone
line.
George.
Beep,
I
beep, 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 beep.
I feel like I was under the impression, which now I'm realizing I think I'm just seeing whatever's on social media and I have no idea what's happening. But I was under the impression that there was actually a rule change saying that like you cannot push someone off, like you would get a penalty for pushing someone off the track if they were past you at the apex.
And
I think that's always been a
And?
rule.
But people
You
are saying
can't
like
push someone
Max
off
does
the
that.
track. And
It's
if
it's a
they're
very
past you at the apex,
flexible
it's their
rule.
corner.
It's a very flexible rule though, because they were basically like, but Max has not been getting in trouble for doing this. Like he brakes really late, and so he will not be able to make the turn. So he is not in front of you at the apex, but he's in front of you after, and then everyone has to go wide. And then that's how he passes you.
Hmm.
yeah, I don't know if there's been any official rule changes, but I think everyone is
But it
not
seemed like they
happy.
were enforcing it like that they had changed the rule.
I think it all comes down to the eternal issue with the stewards, which is the fact that there's different
Different
stewards at
stewards
different
at
races.
Yeah. And wait, okay, so wasn't someone who was a steward at the track was like
Connected
a
with McLaren.
founder of, he was the child of a founder of McLaren.
I see no problem with that. No,
What
that is
the?
really crazy. But it's all so, it's all,
Loosey goosey.
yeah, it
I also feel
is.
like I don't understand racing well enough to always be able to fully understand when penalties should and should not be given, which is why I'm not a steward.
Well,
I'm
maybe the
thinking about
steward
becoming
classes
one.
need to be harder.
I don't know if they even exist, Sarah.
Well, they should.
You just need to watch
will
500 races and you're in.
I will say hot take. I do feel like people want there to be this like it should always be the same and the rules should be applied the same every time, which I understand for fairness principles, but also like isn't that kind of the spirit of F1 is like a little bit cheating, a little bit nepotism, a little bit
Politics,
politics, like
corruption.
isn't it about the corruption?
Money laundering,
Yes.
bribery,
The
Sarah
cigarette
gets it.
sponsor, yes.
gambling. These are the
Crypto.
pillars
Crypto.
of this thing, this
Toxic
beautiful thing we've
men.
built.
Fraud.
Yes. Christian Horner. That's all I have to say.
Why would you
I
want to
did see some
change
very
something?
funny
Why
tweets
else am
of
I
people
watching
saying
this?
so Christian Horner apparently put together like 27-page memo to bring to a hearing about Max's penalty, and people wrote, "Why do you put this much effort into not sexually harassing your employees?"
Because I guarantee he did not write that. Somebody
That
else
is-
wrote that.
Yeah.
He's turning in somebody
Yes
else's
to that.
homework.
Oof.
Well,
Yep.
Checks out.
Yeah. But I think it was this weekend that Ferrari now is above Red Bull in the
Ferrari
constructors.
is ahead of Red Bull
Yes.
and
Sorry,
actually
Anne.
getting close to McLaren.
Yeah,
You're
very
right.
I
close.
know.
Yeah.
Everybody, which is interesting. I think okay, Anne, we're gonna get it. Let's get into it. But first, like third of the season, it was kind of like Checo's not doing great, but Red Bull have been so dominant. People were like,
And he was finishing like second or third the most of the first 8 races. He was.
We'll take your word for it.
Someone fact check this. We can't do
I
it.
will pull up the results of the races right now.
No, we'll take your word for it.
Keep going,
No
Grace.
need.
But it is wild to watch the like reality of like the teams that have 2 drivers. Like I will say Ferrari and McLaren both, I think, don't especially prioritize one driver. Obviously, like Charles is the preferred driver at Ferrari, but they were not trying to tell Carlos to switch positions with Charles. They're like,
Which
Mhm.
arguably, if Charles wanted to try and go
Yeah.
after this drivers' championship, they needed to do that.
yes. But they are both in the like so strongly in the fight for the Constructors' Championship compared to Red Bull. And I'm going to argue ostensibly that's because they let both of their drivers
Hmm.
think they could win.
I think
Mm.
they've made a decision, probably a strategic decision, to prioritize the Constructors'
Constructors.
Championship over the
Which
drivers.
Makes way
And
more sense. It's literally where the money is.
Paul told me a theory over the weekend that Red Bull is purposefully wanting Checo to tank so that they finish third in the constructors, but Max still wins the drivers, so they get the extra wind tunnel time to get ready for the 26 cars.
I've actually heard, I believe that. I hate to say I actually believe that.
I don't believe that. I think there's way too much like narcissism in that team to be doing something like that.
Mm.
The dads,
Uh,
they won't let it happen.
okay, who knew that Haas never had a wind tunnel?
Wait,
I
what do
think
you
I heard
mean?
it straight from
Shelley's.
Gunther's mouth.
They
They
were
don't
like,
have a wind
wait,
tunnel.
we could have had wind tunnels?
I think he was
What's
talking
a wind
about
tunnel?
Wind tunnels?
I think he was talking about Helmut Marko or no, Adrian Newey. They're like, we can get you the best top, wind tunnel. And Gunther's like, we don't even have one. Something like that. So that's how I found out. And I was shook.
We don't even have a wind tunnel. Well, okay,
Fixed
and
in
then
the constructors
Toyota's gonna
with
be
no
their
wind
partner.
tunnel.
Yeah,
I'm
they're
a-
doing great.
I'm obsessed with Toyota as the partner.
Drive far. Is that their
Is
Drive.
that
Is that their slogan?
no?
drive?
Drive. Toyota.
Yeah.
Drive.
I'm curious because next year it's going to be a full turnover for the drivers there. And
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm not sure how things will be because I do
Wait.
think
Who's the second driver?
It's gonna be Esteban and Ollie
Esteban.
Bierman.
Yes.
They said
And
we're
a
getting rid of
Haas.
Magnussen. Let's
It
pick up
honestly
Esteban.
sucks because the drivers they have right now are doing really good.
that's what I'm
Obviously, they
saying.
kind of
know.
lost Nico to like what will maybe be a better situation in a few years, maybe.
Maybe.
But this always happens, doesn't it? Where you're like, I'm leaving this team, and then suddenly the team turns around and you're like,
I feel like Nico must be regretting, or might be regretting a little bit going to Sauber. Like,
I bet he's gonna make more money at Sauber.
yeah. I
All
hope
about
he
money.
better.
Yeah.
Also, there was one moment, maybe I heard this wrong, and maybe I'm the only one who heard this, but I think Alex Jacques said this is Kevin Magnussen's last race. And I
Yes,
was
He
like,
they
did.
said that. What was that about?
what
Like,
is that
wait, he
about?
didn't even say anything about it. Don't do this.
I was like, in Mexico? What's
Oof.
happening?
Kevin
So-
Magnussen is done.
And then I kept waiting for them to come back on and be like, I misspoke earlier and nothing. And I was just like, what is going on? So no one else
Maybe-
is aware that this is Kevin Magnussen's last
No.
race.
No.
I think
In
unless we're watching
Mexico?
like everything, like the pre-interviews, like where they're always like regurgitating everything that's going on the weekend, I think maybe it was something that was thrown around, but nothing
I didn't hear
official.
anything.
We need to
Wait,
be
you think
consuming
that's being
more
thrown around?
content.
I think there's a lot of things being thrown around and they'll just kind of like sneak them in, like, oh, the race hasn't started, but let's talk gossip. And they throw random.
What's
tidbits
going to
out.
happen to Kevin before the next race?
I don't know,
I
but
don't know.
maybe they'll just throw Ollie in and let him
Cook.
give it a
Let it rip.
few. Yeah, but
Maybe.
It's
Cola
not like
Franco,
Kevin has
Cola
been
Pinto.
doing poorly.
No, Kevin's
Kevin's
doing
been doing
fine.
good. He's been finishing
Yeah.
above Nico.
Yeah, I think that was
Yesterday.
just a
Yesterday he did.
commentator misspeaking.
well, just wait. They haven't said anything about Joe or Botas, and I'm
Yeah.
not ready to say bye to
I
them.
think,
But
yeah, when Bottas made some statement that he might have to go back to Mercedes, and I was like, as a test driver?
That would be cute. He'd pull a Danny. He could pull a Danny.
That's cute. That's hot. Okay, reflecting on
He should
Fernando
just
and his
retire and bike and be happy with his
but
lovely
he's good at
partner.
marketing now.
Yeah.
We can't let him go.
I just feel like he's not
He
as
could
bad of a
do-
case as like Danny. Like it seems like he's still just like having a good time. Like it feels like
The
Stake
car is
is really like a
terrible.
party team and they're just
Yeah.
doing nothing else.
They're
They're
just having a
partying.
fun time.
making TikToks, like chilling, making playlists. I love that.
Bring
So
your
then
cat to the race.
yeah, I don't feel so bad that they're not doing as good.
Stop.
I'm not as worried about him as I was about Danny at V Carb.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
V-Carb's not here to have fun. They're here to
No.
form future
No.
champions.
And
I don't
then
know.
have them stay in V Carb for 10 years.
Yeah. It is kind of unhinged that Yuki has not had a shot at driving the Red Bull.
Yes.
Well,
Completely unhinged.
Not even a test, Sarah.
George, let us know what's
I
going
also
on.
feel, I mean, think about how long it's been since someone from V Carb has been promoted.
It seems like that's
To
not
Red
really
Bull.
what they're doing these days.
It's Alex Albon was the last one.
Which is
Mm.
interesting because I think ostensibly there's certainly a part of that that's due to Checo bringing in as much money as he does, and that helps
Yeah.
to make a stronger contract. But then it's weird watching that happen at Red Bull. That's always been such a like ruthless team where they're basically
Yes.
just like, you're fast or you're cut. And now they're like,
You perform or you're out.
but not for Checo.
Money?
Well,
Money?
technically, Christian, did you hear his post-race interview about Checo
No.
saying,
Yeah.
yes, there is a performance need, and
It-
that's kind of all that he left. Unless,
He basically said, like, there comes a point where you have to do something.
So,
What happened to We Are a Family?
no, does not exist. What do
We
you
are
That's
mean?
not what he
family,
told
you will
them
come
last
out to my
night.
farm.
That's not what Christian told Checo last night in his office when they were discussing his career.
Stop.
You had some good references today, Sarah.
Yeah, so I don't know. I feel like Checo could be out. Sorry, Anne.
Yeah.
I just realized I left all of my Costco in my car. I gotta get it, guys. It's got frozen stuff. I'll be back.
This
This be
episode brought to you by
Costco
a bulk grocer near you,
and Grace's jet lag.
and moths. Don't let them eat your clothes. It sucks. Yeah. Did we miss anything else?
I wanted to bring
Covered
up
a lot.
I wanted to talk
the
about
Apex.
Sunny's wonderful
Yes.
performance in the
insane.
race.
Literally
From Apex,
insane.
one of our favorite F1 teams, the 11th team.
It's crazy that they're just like, he won our first win. And I'm like, well, but you did it at a race that's real. So
How's
he
it gonna
didn't win.
work?
Carlos won. Like another person did win this race.
No,
I do not understand how this movie is going to be put together.
Do
I'm
you
on
think they
TikTok.
filmed a podium scene on the real podium and then they made the people cheer for him?
Or are they
That'll be
gonna like
CGI.
use CGI Brad Pitt over Carlo?
It's not even
Ooh,
CGI,
no,
it's
no,
all
no.
just AI art.
Ugh,
Well, then why not make the whole thing AI art?
it might be. We
Well,
don't
then
know.
you wouldn't have Brad Pitt's face, and that part
No.
is important.
Okay, I have to send this to you guys because I don't know. I don't think they're on Instagram, but Apex F1 is
Yeah.
on TikTok and it's unhinged. They use the same like American sound for every single clip. And recently they
Is it
did
an
this.
American team?
I actually have no clue. But they're using
What's
this
the-
in
who's
the
their
same-
engine partner?
movie, Sarah.
Who's their engine partner?
And recently, because of the win, they made a Sunny Hayes TikTok page, and I went to it. And there are some crazy AI stuff, but outside of that, they have him commenting to like people in the comments, and it's very weird. They're like, "Hey, I didn't see your merch," and Sunny's like, "We don't have it up yet. It'll be available soon." Someone's like, "Can I be your camera person in Vegas?" And they're like, he's like, "Yes, come find me." And I'm like, if you're gonna be in character, this makes no
Come
sense.
find me.
What?
That's got to be AI. That's like chat comments,
Possibly.
responses. Maybe the whole thing's fake and they're making fake accounts to do the comments, and then he's also responding with his fake account.
Ugh, it's funny. And there are people in the comments that are like, Carlos got P1. What do you mean?
I'm
Okay.
confused.
But also, let's talk about how old Brad Pitt is.
Wait.
I'm sorry though.
Wait.
There were that I saw. Stop.
What is that?
Is that an AI young Brad Pitt for the
For
movie?
Red Bull. I'm gonna send it in the chat.
Is he in Red Bull?
It says red, or no, I think it is.
From
It's
when he was coming
confusing.
up?
It says Patronus on it, but then it says a Red Bull tag. Is that wrong?
They're just throwing
Patronus is
logos
Mercedes.
Oh,
around.
wait, isn't that literally a picture from Toto? They just put his
I
face
have
over
no idea, but
Toto's
it's on their
body.
official chat. Look at your phones.
Show the picture.
It's my camera's not picking it up. Look at your phones. Someone else show it. It's crazy.
It's an earring.
Oh my gosh.
No.
What?
Oh my gosh.
Feature us, Apex.
Honestly, though, that picture makes me feel like he's even older because that is giving like full 90s baby. And
Yeah, that's
even
like Friends
Fernando
era.
Alonso, when did anybody know when he debuted?
When Oscar wasn't born yet, a month before.
2004
His
or
birth.
something, maybe?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
That sounds right.
1994, which is
Yeah.
definitely when this picture was
What
taken.
Well,
it's giving.
Because Brad Pitt is 60 years old.
Yeah.
Fernando is like 42.
42.
Also, he looked old jumping around in
Yeah,
that
he did.
suit.
And the people in the comments were like, I've never seen an F1 driver with the beer belly.
I've never
So
seen
rough.
I've never seen a driver get his helmet off with his gloves still on.
Yes.
Okay, but they were kind of right. The way he took it off, I was like, I don't even know. I'm not watching that much, but I'm watching enough thirst traps to know they pull it off like this. Like, come on, dude.
Get it
He
right.
needs to be watching more research thirst
More
traps.
Is
thirst
he
traps,
not
please.
method acting? What is going on?
What is happening?
Oh, this movie's gonna be a nightmare.
But like he
It
looks
truly
so
is.
aged. Like I think seeing him
Oh,
made me
man.
be like, you know what? Fernando's not old at all. Fernando's young.
Fernando is young.
It's
But
confusing.
Fernando's also like in insane shape.
Okay. It's confusing because
Shelley.
I'm moving past that.
Too much. Too far.
We don't want to make our listeners uncomfortable. Let's just move past that. I'm confused because they are filming like on race days. I don't know. I'm like, are they like
Because they need the
completely
crowd.
removing? Are they completely removing any existing
No.
F1
No,
teams?
no. I think the
No.
rest
Charles
of the
gonna be
F1
in
teams
it.
will, yes, Charles will be
Yes.
in
See,
it.
that's why I'm so confused. Like,
Yeah, it's gonna be like they're the 11th team.
Yeah,
A
they're
nice
the
little
11th
extra
team.
paycheck for them.
do you think Fernando will be in it? Do you think it'll be like, that's my
Yes.
buddy, my
Yes.
old buddy, who with a nice
Yes.
body?
But then
That's-
also I feel like it's gonna fall flat because I don't think they're actually acting in it outside of what they're doing on the track.
no, because they don't know how to act.
It's
They're F1
really
drivers.
about, it has to just be about the internals of that
Yeah.
one team because they have two drivers who are actors, and then I'm sure like a team principal and stuff who are also actors. And then the other teams, but it's confusing because you think you would want some other team
They're gonna be fighting
drivers
against
to be
Max,
characters,
right?
to
Max?
fill
I
out
just-
your world a little bit.
Can you
I want
imagine?
to say that
the
Anne and I
logis-
were almost in this movie.
We were.
Stop.
Because they were filming it back when we were in Budapest.
Yeah.
2023.
Yes.
But they were like, if you want to be in the movie, come to this
Come down to
grandstand
this
at this
spot.
time. But we
Mhm.
didn't move fast enough. We were just like enjoying being at the Grand
Yep.
Prix.
You heard it
But-
here first.
We
Our
did try to
own
get over there, but by
podcast.
the time we were there, we were way too late.
But can you imagine the logistics and legal and licensing nightmare that producing this movie is?
I
Because
think Liberty
every
Media
single-
is like, oh, do whatever you want.
But every single sponsor on every team is going to be shown in this movie.
Don't you think they're psyched about that?
Maybe Brad Pitt? Why not? They were passing around Apex signs to people, I believe. I don't think anyone came in with
An
actual Apex
Apex
signs,
sign.
but there was some fans with them.
Does Apex have
Funny.
sponsors?
No,
Can't
I don't think
be.
so.
They have to, just invisible ones. What is it?
Maybe fake ones, fake
Fake ones,
companies.
probably.
Is this F1 movie the reason why F1 will not approve an 11th team? They're like, we actually have to maintain that for Apex until the
Apex.
movie's wrapped.
Stop.
God help us all. No, I think I asked Dad about this semi recently because they were talking about another team that wants to start Andretti, and then
Mhm.
they
Yeah,
had
yeah.
a new partner, right? Is this true?
Cadillac.
It doesn't sound right, but I don't know. But I was like, how does that work? They just had to then have 11 teams, and Dad was like, no, they have to qualify then. So then maybe every race weekend, a team doesn't make it, or two drivers don't make it, or at the beginning of the season,
No,
a
no,
team doesn't
no.
make it for the season. You know, we should bring him on as an expert because
I
actually
don't
I
like
don't know.
that. I don't like that if that's
Okay,
no.
it is Cadillac for the record.
Great.
Um, I mean, I think it's up to the FIA to decide how many cars they'll allow in every race, and if they're fine with 22 cars, then it's fine to go. We've had races with more than 22 cars in Formula One before, like previous to the currently existing teams.
Wait, okay, confirm this because I feel like Dad and I were talking about this. When they had more cars, only the top 20 would get to race.
This is what
I
I
mean, I think
just
they can
said.
change
You're
those
not
rules whenever they
listening.
want. It doesn't
I'm
have
not
to be
listening.
20.
I'm thinking about my Costco. No.
It is what Sarah just said, and I don't like it. I don't like that.
I think that maybe that is one way they would do it. I guess theoretically they could also have 22 cars on the track.
Yeah, the FIA
I
can
don't
change
know.
that however they want.
Yeah, but they have to agree to change it, and it doesn't seem like they're
I
like hungry
believe
for change.
I believe the current holdup is that each individual team has to agree to let an 11th team on the
Yeah.
grid. And none of them want to because they know that their teams are extremely valuable right now. So they have no incentive to let an 11th team onto the grid and make the value of their teams potentially drop.
That's it.
That makes sense.
Follow the money.
Yeah. All of the money.
I mean, in the 50s, I was just looking it up. There was apparently a race where there was 34 cars. So
That
FIA
was
can
the
change it however they want.
50s. Was
Fair.
F1 even real then?
Stop. Did everyone
It
make it
officially
out?
started in 1950.
How many races did
Okay.
they do that year? 3?
Let's talk about how Carlos is is he the first Spanish-speaking driver to win the Mexican Grand Prix? I believe he is.
I don't know.
Don't
And
know.
it's like, could be true.
I can look it
Just
up.
say
And
it.
the
Just say
last
it.
time Ferrari won Mexico was in 1990.
Well, Mexico wasn't on the grid for a long time. Not to be a hater, but I
She's
think
being a hater.
from maybe the
Yeah.
mid
I
90s
smell a
until like
hater.
2015, it wasn't on the grid.
I don't know enough to refute that.
Let's
That's
do
just a
this.
guess, and there's no way to know the truth.
Okay, what did you think when Max said he got told he was getting that 10-second penalty
He
and he
said,
made some snarky remark?
not
That's wonderful.
not bad.
He's really like in a
He's in his villain era.
yeah. Well, he's
Or
in his
just
like
he doesn't
nothing
care.
really bothers me except you, Lando era.
That's exactly it.
Nothing bothers me. It's not bothering me at all, except don't let Lando pass me.
Yeah, it is kind of wild though, because I do think of them as friends.
I
And
think they
even
are friends.
hearing Lando talk about it, he's like, I don't really want to talk about this because Max is my friend. But that was
He bullies me
dangerous.
too.
He bullies me. Okay,
He's kind of
what
my
about
friend, but also he's mean and
He's
he's a
mean to
bully.
Harry.
Made me feel bad.
what about in the cool down room? Have you seen all those memes talking about how like Lando was like looking over at Charles to be like, look at that crazy move Max did.
Look at your best
And
friend.
Carlos is like, or Charles is like, Not
Not
making
engaged.
any,
Not engaged.
not engaged at all.
No reaction.
Oh, brilliant. The cool down room is my favorite part of F1 right now.
Of
It's
The
really
course.
good.
sound
It
this week
feels
was awful, though.
Yeah, it
And
was
they
bad this
also
week.
cut out like a third of them talking because Charles kept swearing.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah.
I see.
Charles is about to get community service with Max.
Let them swear. I say
Let them
let them
swear.
swear.
Did you see that apparently? So he swore during the
Yes.
post-race conference, and he
Yeah.
immediately was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I don't want to get community service." And
Bad
he
way to go.
also like apologized to the like host and the organizers after the press conference because he really doesn't want to get community service. And is taking quite a different tact in this situation compared to Max.
I feel like let me hear Charles swear in the cool down room. Can I like check a box that says I'm 18 plus and I'm fine with hearing the swears?
That's
It is a
interesting.
streaming service. They just need to have like a little thing on the top when you sign in that says
Well,
that
also
it
there's a kids version,
has
isn't
language.
there?
And there's a kids version.
IDK.
Yeah, IDK as well.
Well,
Well,
that's my life.
Whoa. I hope you had fun because I know I did.
is that a quote from something?
It's Lizzie McGuire.
No one knows that one. Except you
Who-
guys.
That was hurtful,
We
Shelley.
apologize to anyone who doesn't get any of the references. Sarah and the rest of us think we're hilarious.
I feel like you are distancing yourself from our family inside
Just
references right
back
now,
up.
Shelley.
Let's hear some of your references, Shelley.
I don't have any references.
No references from our
Shelley is
fourth
not engaging.
sister.
Not engaging.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's
What's
hope
next
that
week?
Brazil.
Is it next
Let's
week or is it
see.
2 weeks?
I heard triple header.
I can't handle.
I
I
hear
think
triple
it's
header.
triple
I
header.
next
think
week, and
3 weekends in
Grace
a row.
should be off to Hawaii if she wants to see our man on the podium.
I know. I was gonna say if it
Mhm.
was in 2 weeks, I would be.
We'll see.
I'm gonna manifest. I like the manifesting tradition, and
Okay.
I think it's working for us. I want to manifest
Really?
Colapinto.
Colapinto on the points, Lewis Hamilton on the podium.
Lewis loves Brazil.
Yeah, he does love
Yeah.
Brazil, and Brazil loves him.
Mhm. I manifest Colapinto on the podium. Max.
Yep.
Max, I see in 7th.
I have to say, sorry,
Someone write this down.
Max,
Can
I think he has an engine coming in, so he's taken some penalty already. So you're could be right there, Grace. There you go.
Can I manifest a Max DNF to really spice up the Drivers' Championship?
That is wild and very
That'd be
dark
great.
of you.
I love that.
Mom will love it.
He's
I
fully
see-
anti-Red Bull.
Another Ferrari
Wanna fight in the
1-2
drivers.
and a third McLaren on the podium, but I won't name which ones are which.
And Franco Colapinto also on the podium.
Yeah, all four of
4
them will
people
be
on the
there.
podium next week. It's going to be a packed podium.
It's
It's
a
giving
tie. It's a
Grace last
tie.
weekend, Franco, Alonso, and Carlos. That was her pick.
I was 1/3 right. That's like incredible.
I guess I'm hoping for McLaren, either one of them. I think there'll be Ferrari up there and then a Mercedes.
You want the trifecta,
I do.
one
Yeah.
of each.
I want a good battle. That's what I want.
You want a sampler platter.
No team rules. I want a good battle.
No team
Papaya
rules.
rules. I feel like papaya rules actually means like you can fight, just don't crash into each other.
I would
that is all it
imagine.
means.
What else would it mean?
I don't think it was exactly clearly defined.
Papaya rules?
Papaya rules means don't get Daddy Zach mad at you.
Papaya
can't.
rules.
Well, you don't have to. I will.
Anne?
I told you I manifested Max's DNF.
That's
That's
it?
all she wants for
That's all
Christmas.
She wants Checo to look good next weekend, basically. So
I want to manifest a Charles win
Really?
interesting.
because
Her?
I'm really wanting a three-way fight for this drivers' championship.
Her?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Manifest Carlos into the drivers' championship fight.
Yeah, he's close enough, honestly.
I manifest Carlos in the Red Bull seat. That's what I want.
Ooh.
Now we're getting out of hand. I feel you're tempting fate, you know.
You're tempting fate.
Everyone DNFs. And it's a wash weekend. That's what's gonna happen.
I'm manifesting rain.
Ooh.
It's been a while. It
It's
almost
been a
rained.
while.
It almost rained this weekend. It's not sunny. Don't manifest him. Put him away. Put him away.
No.
It's sunny to Red Bull.
Red Bull
Oh.
Patronus, my favorite team.
Well, okay, was Patronus?
With
I don't know.
yeah, somebody has to fact check that. Otherwise,
don't
it's gonna be
know.
terrible.
We'll put it on the gram in
We're
2
gonna
to 5
call them
business
out.
days.
I'll put this in the reel and I'll tag them.
The fact that they literally were just
Just Photoshop.
Photoshop his head and put it onto this race suit we made.
I don't want to brag, but that is the same level of Photoshop that I have brought to our Photoshop Instagrams.
Don't call
We
us
haven't
out.
done a Photoshop Instagram in a long
It's
And
a
I'm not
look.
talking the bad one. I'm not talking those quick and easy ones that Grace is doing. I'm talking the ones
Mine
I
are not
did.
quick and easy.
It's a
Well, we don't have to get
look.
into it. Let's not get into it. But I'm just saying, couple Photoshop classes. We could all be doing that. You could probably ask Photoshop to do it for you. No problem. And you don't even have to have the image. You could just say, put a 90s Brad Pitt on this body, and it would know what to do.
Looking at this now, that's not Toto Wolff. That is an AI race suit
Yeah, it's AI.
or something, or it's been Photoshopped. They
Yeah.
created an idea. They did not make it in real life.
Yeah,
But also the
definitely.
patches are on it. They look so
They look
fake.
weird.
It's
Yeah.
very fake.
It's very badly done. They should have hired someone who actually works for one of the F1 teams when they have to Photoshop a new driver's head onto an
Yeah.
existing driver.
Or the new sponsor onto all of the old photos, the promo photos,
Ferrari, anyone?
which they do all the time.
Oh.
Well, congratulations to the race winner, Sunny.
Sunny Hayes.
Sunny
Hayes.
Apex.
F1. We
Carlos
knew
Sainz, never heard of
We'd
him.
end up loving an old guy
Fernando?
with a good body.
with a good body. I never said he had a good body. You made that implication. I said that he was fit.
You said he was in incredible shape. You said he had an
That is
incredible
the direct
body.
quote.
I said he was incredible shape, and incredible shape and being hot are totally different.
Technically,
one-
British
no one said
slang,
hot.
being fit means hot. Like,
No,
right?
no.
Something like that.
No, I'm sorry. No. They should, I'm sorry, but also like I feel like actors all the time have to like, work out to be in a movie. What's happening with Brad Pitt?
Oh, don't body shame him.
I'm going to.
He can't
He
get that
thought,
muscle on.
well, there's a race suit. No one will know.
Yeah.
It's a race suit. He thought they're gonna CGI
You
my
know what it
abs
really
on.
is, though? You know what it really is?
Tell us.
It's the neck. The neck,
That's
it
throwing
looks
it.
like a twig. It's going to flop over in a second's notice with just one little turn.
Snap.
Yeah, it'll snap like a twig. And it looks so silly. It's very obvious that he's not a driver. And the thing is the neck.
She is kind of right.
I know. I am right.
The problem here is the neck. When he was running around with the Mexican flag, I was like,
Is he supposed
is
to be
Sonny Mexican?
It's a little tan. I
Don't think so.
They were like, that's what you do. You run around with the flag of the country that you're in, right?
Which they don't.
Maybe Hamilton would if he won in Brazil. I bet he's done that.
But he
he's
also
like
has a citizenship in Brazil.
Yeah.
I know. I was
Sarah.
being generous.
I know. I mean, even
You-
Carlos got out that Spanish flag in Mexico, which I personally felt was in bad taste, but I still
You're
let
like,
him.
ooh, Carlos.
Oh, oh.
But like,
Not this
I know
week.
that him and his dad always have that flag and they hold it up when they win. But I was also like, in Mexico? Ugh.
He really conquered that racetrack.
Stop.
Take that out. Cut that.
No, leave it in. It's
It's a
so
reel.
good.
It's a reel, and it's an at Carlos at Ferrari.
Carlos at Ferrari.
Okay.
And
Hey,
on that
another great
note,
episode.
thank you for joining us, everyone.
Arrivederci.
Arrivederci.
How would
We'll see
wait,
you
wait,
all in
wait. How would Zach
Brazil.
Brown say adios?
Adios.
Adios. Adios, Lando.
Yes.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.